Justin, on the lit side, when you were working for Innovative, what were some of the rules that you learned that were maybe unspoken, but that when something came across your desk that you knew that a writer was in a particular situation, or just some of the protocol that maybe the rest of the world doesn't know about until you're really in that industry?
Well, as an assistant, you take on a lot of tasks and duties. It's a very difficult job. And especially in my situation at Innovative, working for Nancy, as I said, she was representing some of the best clients in town. And so she was very challenging. She expected a lot out of me. So it was mentally and physically challenging on a daily basis. But I learned so much from her in that period of time being there. So the little things that you learn are, Nancy had a stack of 100 scripts probably, on her desk, overflowing onto the floor and out the office door. And 90 of those would end up on my desk, because she only has the time to read the ones that are potentially worth reading. So my job as someone who is reading these scripts and doing coverage and recommending clients or recommending projects or giving notes was to get through this stack of 90 or 100 or whatever it was, and get her the projects that were worthwhile. So to make my job easier, because 90% of it at the office was taking calls and scheduling meetings and meeting with our writers and our directors and discussing their projects. These scripts were take-home scripts. So if I wanted to take my work home with me and have nothing outside of working at the agency and doing coverage, then I would look for an excuse potentially not to read if I didn't have to. So there's the old cliche that you've probably heard that when you're starting to read a script, if you can tell it's not a great story, you'll read the first 30 pages and then you'll read the last 10 pages. Because if the story doesn't unfold to you or grab you or really get you going within even the first 10, 20, 30 pages, then it's probably not even worth reading the entire thing. And then you read the last 10 to see if anything actually happened that blows your mind at the end. So, but to get back to your question, I think the thing is, what a lot of people don't know is I would receive scripts that would literally have money attached and say, here's $5. I'd love to have you read my script. And I would know that, although that's great, and I'm sure I took the $5 and spent it on something nice, I knew that wasn't coming probably from a legitimate writer. So I would look at the cover page, I would look at the concept, see if it was something that we were looking for. But most likely that type of project would go from my desk into the trash because there's 89 other scripts that I have to read. So it's the same thing with scripts that would come with a cover sheet that would have their name, their contact information, 5 phone numbers to get a hold of them at, the WGA registration number, the copyright number, all these things. A legitimate writer who's been around that's not green is not going to put all those things on the cover page. They're going to put the title, they're going to put their name, and then they're going to maybe put one contact. So those types of things were telltale signs. I mean, you just know who you're dealing with at that point. And I'm not saying it's right. I love reading. I would love to read everything that I could. There just isn't time for it. And unfortunately, being at Innovative, I read all those scripts, and I think, we passed on probably 99% of them. I think I recommended 2 clients in the time that I was there that we represented. And I recommended maybe a half a dozen projects, and we probably, shopped a small number of those. So out of 500,000 scripts, that's a very small number. It's a cutthroat industry, but just learning those things. So for me as a writer and developing my craft, I knew a little bit more of what I had to do to get my script into the right hands, what I had to do to make sure that they knew that I wasn't potentially green and that I'd been around and I knew the business, and everything that I did to try to hopefully help me get my script in the right hands and hopefully get it financed or optioned or made.